Welcome again to Spanish Inside. I am Camila and I am so happy to be here again with you to teach you how to find your Spanish through your English. So, the terminations words that we are going to cover today are the words in English that end with al, ble, ik, ent, and. And we're going to use these words that we will learn today to, to learn how to create phrases in Spanish and also, why not, questions. Okay, so let's start right now. Okay, words that end in al. Okay, these words are often identical in Spanish and English. I'm talking about the meaning. So remember, our basic translations are de, that means el or la. El for masculine, la for feminine. For example, the animal, el animal. Okay, so Spanish words that end in al are stressed in the last syllable. For example, animal. Okay, here you have more examples to understand this. Central, local, personal, el criminal, comercial, hospital. Okay, so having into account this vocabulary, I'm going to share a tip with you. You will also find this tip into the worksheet that I have prepared for you, and check the description below to download it. Okay, now here's a tip. Group the words that you learn into categories. Okay, here are some examples. Naturaleza y entorno, for example, nature and environment. You can group this with words like el animal, natural, tropical, rural, el canal. Okay, so have into account that all this you are going to find it in the worksheet. Now, let's continue. Words that end in ble. For example, the cable, el cable, notable, posible, formidable, and the rest of them that, if you take a look on them, are exactly the same in English. Okay, now Spanish words that end in ble are stressed on the next to the last syllable. For example, notable, notable, posible, posible. So try to pronounce these so you can understand in your own vocabulary and your own voice how this sounds. Notable, posible. Now, if you struggle with the vowels, I recommend you to watch the first video that I have prepared about this course, where I'm teaching you how to find your Spanish through your English. So, okay, very good. Let's move on here with ik, words that end in ik. Now, this pattern is where actually starts this thing about transforming English words into Spanish words. In this case, the words that end in ik, you will transform it into Spanish words simply by adding an o. Okay? So add an o at the end like this. Ta-da! You have all this Spanish vocabulary for you that it's already present in your English vocabulary, and by simply understanding this pattern, you have all these Spanish words. It's amazing. I love it. Now, let's continue. transform these English words into Spanish words. Okay? Just take a look at them. Politic. How how would it sound if you add an o at the end? The same with historic, the same with dramatic. I'll show you. Here you are. Político, histórico, dramático. Now, something that I came up during the class with my students, it's that if you draw a line in the air, like if you were a conductor, you will understand where to put the accent of these words. For example, político, histórico, dramático. Okay, yeah, have that into account every time you see a Spanish word with an accent. Okay, now let's move on here. Words that end in ent and ant. So I'll show you these two together because they follow the same rule, that it's adding an e, I mean an i, eh, in English an i, and in Spanish an e, and pronounce it like this: the president, el presidente, important, importante. Okay, here are some examples: intelligent, different, excellent, patient, independent, dependent. So if you add an e on all of them, they will become Spanish words. Okay. Uh, on the other hand, generally English words that have a double L and double F, in Spanish we spell it with only one letter. So for example, these two will be inteligente, diferente. Okay. Now you'll see how all these English words turn into Spanish words simply by adding an e at the end. That's it. Here you are. All these are Spanish words that you can actually use, and you also have to learn how to pronounce it, because it's not just okay, excellent, excelente. No, it's not excelente, it's excelente. Okay, please learn the vowels. The vowels are so important for your pronunciation, believe me. Now, maybe you are seeing this and think, what? This is so easy. How didn't I realize it before? Well, that is why you understand it better when you read it than when you hear it, or even when you actually speak it. Because, in the classroom, I know that working on your reading is not the same as in your listening. That's why it's so important to work your listening. Now, for example, es importante is not the same to say is important. And what can I say about it is important? I cannot find es importante when I hear it is important, because it sounds very, very different. But when I read it, when I was learning English, when I read it's important. Okay, es importante. That's why a combination or of all these skills is so important. Working on your reading, working on your listening, and most of all, before writing, because it is important to know how to write in Spanish. It's very, very important. But the most important one, I would say that it's speaking, because every time you learn all this vocabulary, you have to know how to speak it, how to talk about this and actually use it, because our brain will understand it better. Okay, now I will stop with my with my talking, I like to chat. So I will move on. Words that end in "ent" or "ant" are accented or stressed on the next to the last syllable. For example, inteligente, diferente, excelente, paciente. Okay, here you have it. The letter G is pronounced like in English an H. For example, every time that appears when has an E or an I before, as like inteligente. You have it here, inteligente. Okay, so I'm giving you some time to complete the following examples. Apply this pattern and try to complete it. Okay, you got it? Okay, I'm going to show you. Wow, here are a bunch of new words of your vocabulary, of your actual vocabulary, not, not because of making an extensive vocabulary list, but understanding the pattern. Okay, this is very, very important for you and very useful as well. This is something that I used when I was learning English. So yes, you can use it. Now, write please your examples. Write it in the comments. Now, we are going to create your first sentences. Okay, it's already class number 2 and you are already creating sentences. It's that great or not? Okay, we said before that the, it's el or la, a, an, un, una. Now we have is, would be in Spanish es. Is not, no es. Let's bring some of the vocabulary we've learned before. Now, from this point on, it's all about using your imagination. For example, you can say, el público es paciente. El restaurante es excelente. Un cliente es paciente. Un doctor es importante. Un criminal no es inteligente. Now, write your Spanish phrase in the comments and I will correct it if it's necessary. Now, to turn these into questions, just change the word order like this. If I say, is the doctor intelligent? Is the doctor intelligent? I take the adjective intelligent and I bring it right at the beginning, like this. Is intelligent the doctor? I know this doesn't sound right in English, but it is in Spanish. ¿Es inteligente el doctor? ¿Es inteligente el doctor? Or you can also say, is the client patient? I take the adjective and I place it right at the beginning. Is patient the client? ¿Es paciente el cliente? Now, to say this in a negative way, just place no right in front of es, like this. ¿No es inteligente el doctor? ¿No es paciente el cliente? We often ask in a more natural way by keeping only the adjective at the beginning, like this. ¿No es inteligente? ¿No es paciente? ¿Es inteligente? ¿Es paciente? Now, we have, ¿es excelente el restaurante? ¿Es diferente el criminal? ¿Es importante el público? ¿Es terrible un doctor criminal? Now, complete the rest with the correct answers, okay? You can comment below or write your answer in the worksheet that you have the link in the description. Okay, so stop the video now and answer them. Got it? Let's see. ¿Es independiente el cliente? ¿No es excelente el restaurante? ¿Es paciente un doctor? ¿No es inteligente el criminal? So, I hope that was clear enough. If you like this method, I'll share with you the Spanish Bible. Okay? Madrigal's Magic Key to Spanish. This book is the book that I'm using to teach you all of the things in this course. Margarita Madrigal published this book 25 years ago, and it continues to have a significant impact in the world. That's for sure. This is the Spanish Bible. Now, if you like to get a copy of this book, you'll find the link in the description below. And by purchasing it through that link, you will be helping me with a small commission, and you will be also continue the Margarita's legacy. Now, gracias. Thank you for watching this video. This was so good for you to me. I really enjoy having these classes with you. Now, discover in the next video of this series how to form Spanish words that end in ist, os, and yon. Okay? Now, these are things that are actually in your English vocabulary, and we are going to learn how to transform them into Spanish words. Now, feel free to share this with your English speaking friends. Help me reach the 100 followers because I'm new here on YouTube. And drop a comment if you want to, if you feel like. And I'll see you soon with more Spanish Insight. Adiós. Chao, chao.